Hey there, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Lisa Concepcion, certified professional love life coach, and today I'm talking about self-love, right? This concept that you see all over social media, all over even YouTube here if you're finding me on YouTube. But the thing is, not a lot of people talk about how do you actually love yourself. So I'm going to begin by telling you that this may trigger some people. I am not one to sugarcoat. I am not one to placate or coddle or enable. But what I am is going to inspire you and empower you to love yourself. And I'm going to be very honest and truthful because I respect you and I believe that as an adult who's seeking out this information, you deserve the truth. So my commitment to the truth is much more solid and stronger than my commitment to being liked. So you may not like this information, but you may find it kind of like, I might not like it, but it's true. So number one way of loving yourself is to make your commitment to truth paramount in your life. Now, what do I mean by this? I mean that if you have some pattern or something that's happening in your relationship world, and it's ongoing and it's always the same thing, same people, different shoes, recurring situations again and again, repeating situations again and again, then you are the common denominator of that. And it's important that you seek the truth in yourself, meaning what is it in me that attracts this? Now, some people will say like, oh, that's blaming the victim. I say, no, that's empowering the victim. And there is no victim, right? It's empowering someone to say, instead of me blaming everybody else out there for my situation, which I keep seeing myself in over and over, and it's a situation that I don't really like, I'm going to look inward because I can't control what's out there, but I certainly can control what's in my mind and what's in my heart and the intuition and the actions that I take based on what my gut tells me, to be true. So you're not going to have any success in self-love if you're constantly blaming outside situations, right? Anything outside yourself, people, government, circumstances outside. If you are blaming, then you are not loving yourself. But when you say, okay, I am going to look inward, I am going to explore myself, how I look at this, how my perspective, my beliefs are possibly holding me back, then that is what is called shadow work. It's acknowledging that there is a part of you that might be afraid to accept truth, right? And so you can see that part of you and you can show it compassion, affirmation. You can go to it and be like, wow, this is a real part of me who has these types of beliefs and these types of systems in my mind that then creates this type of result. So that means that if you change your mind, you will change the outcome of your life. And as a life coach, an empowerment life coach who specializes in post-divorce reinvention, recovery, post-breakup reinvention, recovery, narcissistic abuse, right? Getting over that, toxic people, eliminating them from your life and making a choice. So self-love is all about choices. It's about the consciousness of our actions, right? Are we making actions? Are we taking actions from a place of disempowerment, a place of fear? Or are we making decisions from a place of love and truth and commitment to the desired outcome that we want? So a lot of people self-sabotage because they would rather cling to what's comfortable than what is self-loving. And I'll give you an example for that. Being in a relationship and staying too long in a relationship, right? That's common way of self-sabotage. You know that this person isn't right for you, and yet you continue to choose them every day. And every day that you choose them is a step away from self-love for yourself. So you're not choosing you, you're choosing them because you think that they can make you feel good. And that is the spiral of dysfunction that we see happening in relationships, and especially codependent narcissistic relationships, which is far too common. We have this epidemic of massive narcissism in our culture. It's playing out in society. Temper tantrums, adults, basically thrashing about, thinking that their view is more important than somebody else's view and that the two views can't coexist. Forcing people to be silenced if they don't agree with their point of view, and putting forth these ridiculous oppressive policies that do nothing for anybody, right? But this is like what we're seeing. So relationships, if you don't see self-love in the world, right? You see narcissism and people trying to coerce other people to live the way they need them to live. It's very psychopathic. We see that in the grander scheme of things in society. It's going to trickle down into our relationships. So as a coach, I see tons of people contacting me all the time, right? People see these videos and then they connect with me at LoveQuestCoaching.com, my website. They do the free Love Life assessment, and you can do this too. And in this free Love Life assessment, they're sharing all of these things, and it's one after the next that's exactly the same. I'm involved with a narcissistic person. My ex-girlfriend is highly narcissistic and she keeps hoovering me, and I know she just uses me for money, but I can't stop. I can't stop going back to her. And then another woman will write me, another person, I've been in a marriage with a narcissist for 17 years and I know I need to get out, but I can't get out. Like all of these things. Why are we seeing this in our society, and why is it so prevalent? Because people aren't loving themselves. So here's how to love yourself. Number one, decide that the truth is more important than your feelings, right? Now, your feelings and your emotions are nothing but guidance. So if you're feeling angry, sad, confused, frustrated, you could also have higher level emotions, joy, expectation of good things, hope, right? And you get to think your way into a higher vibration. That's a very self-loving way to be, right? Loving yourself means having dominion over your own thoughts. It's having the consciousness to say, I feel really crappy. Like, that means I'm not loving up on myself. What's another way to look at this so that I can feel better about this situation, right? What does spirit want me to know about this situation that I am not seeing? Sit down with yourself and journal and ask, this is a stressful thing that's happening in my life. What does spirit want me to know about this that I might not be seeing? And so when you allow that space, that silence, just to kind of be with yourself, you're going to get inspiration. You're going to be in spirit, inspiration, inspirato, right? So you're going to get downloads and guidance. But a lot of people who do not practice these self-loving practices, these routines of being with yourself, they aren't taking responsibility for their well-being. They're putting it in the hands of whatever's out there. Their kids, their jobs, their significant other, and that's a trap. That's a codependent trap. It means this chronic addiction to external pleasure, external soothing. It's a relinquish of responsibility for the self. So there's nothing more self-loathing than abandoning yourself. Right? So the complete opposite of self-love is self-hatred, okay? And that comes with self-sabotage, self-abandonment. It's an inability to face oneself, an inability to assess what is needed and create standards and boundaries and then enforce them through consequence in your life. So self-love requires setting boundaries, getting clear about what you want in life, what you desire in life, focusing on it, and not allowing anyone to disrupt your path towards what it is that you desire. That is self-loving. That is why people who are, you see people who are very achieved a level of success in their life, it's because they have self-discipline. Self-discipline is another way that you can love yourself. Right? When you say you're going to do something, like me with this video today, I'm like, okay, I have to meet with these people who I'm working with to do stuff for my business. Cool. I want to do these videos today. I have a to-do list. I have a, focus for what I want to do. And then I go through that process of actually completing things that I said I want to do, that is a self-loving thing to do. You boost confidence that way. You show up for yourself. You stick to the things that you're going to say. That you're going to do. You have integrity for yourself, right? So then that means that the people that you're going to have around you, they're also going to be people of integrity too. So I'm hopeful that this helps you out, because there's a lot of like muddiness about self-love and self-care. People are out there being like, I love myself. I give myself my nails and my massages, and I treat myself to facials, and that's taking care of your meat suit, which is fine, and do those things. That's wonderful. It feels good to do that. Great. What I'm talking about is consciousness. I'm talking about the decisions that you choose to make in your life, who you allow in your sphere and who you cut off, right? That is truly self-love. When you can look at somebody and say, I can wish you love and light from way over here because you're toxic AF and I'm not having you in my sphere, but I can, if you're a family member or whatever, like, hun, I can throw you love and light from 1,000 miles away. I don't need to be sitting at your table at Thanksgiving, right? Because toxic, you make a decision. This is what self-love is all about. It's making decisions in your life that others may not agree with because it's not serving them, right? It's serving you. People don't like that, but too bad, because they're serving themselves too. So this really, applies to a lot of people who are people pleasers, who are giving, and then giving some more at their own expense, right? So Tony says, I like the Yoda talk. Leave your relationship and love yourself, you must. Yeah, exactly. So like with this, I say, with self-love, there was a woman who reached out to me, and she's done some coaching with me in the past, never really committed to a full-on program, but still, baby steps. She is where she is, chose to work with me, got a level of success, reached a certain level, and then dipped right off. Why? Because she didn't integrate. She didn't actually commit to applying all that she learned to her day-to-day life. So when you read a book, see, I have all these books behind me, but you don't integrate the information, then you're just reading and getting information, but you're not applying it. So information without application will never lead to transformation, right? You have to have information plus integration, application. You're doing it. You're doing it in your life. When you read a book and you say, wow, this is a new concept. This is amazing. So how am I going to apply this to my life starting immediately, right? Now that I read this information, what self-loving actions can I take in my life? So this woman, getting back to her about who, I coached and whatever, she reemerges and she sends me a text checking in, which I love. And I was happy to hear from her, but unfortunately, she finds herself in yet again another narcissistic relationship where the person is super controlling. She made the conscious decision. Well, I'm going to say the unconscious decision. Okay, so a lot of people who aren't self-loving, they're operating from a very low level of consciousness. And they're making decisions rooted in lack, scarcity, fear, desire to be approved of, validation, need of attention, worried that this is as good as I can get, self-perceptions about her age, self-perceptions about I'm not getting any younger, so I have to make sure I get a guy. All this bullshit, right? It's all mental junk that we have a self-talk, and in this case, this woman, she's letting everybody else run her life, right? She's letting everybody else dictate how her life goes. This is not self-love. This is self-abandonment, and it never bodes well. So we got together, and what happened? She asked me if she could book a session. Does she book the session? No. Excuse after excuse. Oh, I don't have my credit card with me. Oh, I don't have this. You know what? This is why. When you ask me, why can't I love myself? Because your actions are not in alignment with your words. You're bullshitting yourself, essentially. You're saying, I recognize I have a problem, and I'm not going to take self-loving action to do something about it. Instead, I'm going to avoid, and just be in my little pity party. So the people that I coach are not this. The people that I coach are people who see that they have a problem, want a solution, and are committed to getting to that solution, no matter what. They are not wishy-washy. They are not squishy. They are not thinking of, oh, maybe this, maybe that. It's no, I want to feel good immediately. And it is my responsibility to do whatever it takes to switch whatever's going on in my mind, get into the right mindset, the right thinking that then inspires self-loving action. Self-love is about action. That's it. It's about right thinking and right action. And far too many people go online and they serve up this big bag of bullshit about self-love. Oh, you got to make time for yourself. True. Oh, you have to get clear on what it is that you desire in life. True. But they fail to go the next step. They fail to say it is discipline. Self-discipline is a form of self-love. And they don't want to talk about that part. Because that part's like, ugh. Like, really? I have to actually say what it is that I want to do and then actually do it? Ugh. Right? So, bunch of babies not claiming accountability, not saying, I am here because I put myself here. Bad thinking got me in a bad situation. Bad actions got me in a bad situation. Bad decisions got me in a bad situation. So, what's the opposite of that? How am I going to love myself out of this shit pit that I find myself in? And that's where I come in, right? Because if you could see from your little shit pit of your own creation, right? You see a little light at the end of that tunnel and you start saying, I'm going over there to out of the darkness and into the light. And I know I'm going to discover a bunch of stuff about myself that I might not like, but I'm going to love myself through it anyway. That is where you reach the alchemy of your soul and your mind. Then you take actions accordingly. When you know you got there, you will make very clear agreements with yourself about a myriad of things. What you will do, what you will not do, how you spend your time and with whom, what information you take in, what you don't, who you want to get around, the information you want. Everything from what you eat, from exercise, all of it, every aspect of your life, you take an inventory and you start making agreements with yourself. Is this a self-loving decision? No. What can I do differently? What would be a more self-loving decision to make? And then you hold your ass accountable and you have a partner, someone like me, where I'm just like, listen, dude, did you do these 3 things this week? Because you said in our last session, you were going to do these 3 things in your life, and did you do them? Well, okay, so what's the self-loving action that you can take now? Like, give yourself grace and compassion, okay? You had a busy week, somebody in your family got sick, you had to take care of people, okay, wonderful. But what are you going to do now that that's past and you still have these commitments that you made to yourself? And then you're not doing anything about them. So I'm hopeful that something in this hit you in a way that made you say, you know what? I don't have self-discipline. I say that I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, and then I put it off. I procrastinate. I don't show up for myself. That is an opportunity then for you to step into self-love and do the things that you say you're going to do. Get the help that you say you think you need. You're on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, wherever you're finding this content, right? That fact that you went and searched for information that you wanted to get help with is a self-loving action. So good for you, but that is step 1. There are a lot of people consuming content, but they're not doing anything. They're not taking any action. They're just watching stuff to affirm whatever it is that they want to affirm, right? People who are wounded in childhood, abused or emotionally neglected or whatever their deal was for childhood, they will watch stuff about abusive parents. And that's great. Get information, raised by a narcissistic parent or an emotionally unavailable parent. Wonderful. Okay, that's step 1. I wrote a blog about this, right? I wrote a blog, the 3 steps for getting the phases of getting over narcissistic abuse or toxic relationships. First phase, you're going to jump in to find all the information out about these, cluster B, lunatic, psychopathic type people, right? You want to start to be like, wow, who are these people? What makes them tick? Why are they coming at me? Step 2 is, what is it in me that attracted them? So now you're starting to look at codependency. Now you start looking at like, whoa, like what is the thing in me that's such a people pleaser? Why do I need to feel like I get, accolades from people or affirmations from people? Like what is up with me not being able to generate that for myself? So that's the second phase. First, like I said, you get super clear on who these psychopaths are and how they operate. Step 2 is, what is it in me that attracts that? And then the third step is deciding. This is the decision part. It's the new boundaries, the new standards, the new agreements with yourself, so that you have an energetic bubble shield around you where these people don't even mess with you anymore. And this is the stuff that I teach. I do it through inner child work. I do it through shadow work, identity work, which is huge because essentially you are shifting into a new identity, the identity of someone who loves themselves. And all of this takes action. It requires action. You cannot just sit there and meditate and say, I am going to love myself, and I'm going to say to myself in the mirror that I am beautiful and I am wonderful and that I am special and all of this, but you're not going to embody it and show it through action. Right? If you look at yourself in the mirror, I'm a big fan of, mirror work. Okay. So you look at yourself in the mirror and you speak to yourself and you look at yourself as if God is looking at you saying, my child, I made you perfect. Don't ever think for a second that I'm, lacking in any way. I'm God, the greatest creator of all. And I created you, and therefore you are perfect. And you are on a journey and you have a lot of stuff to learn. And you're going to grow, and I'm right beside you, and I would never put you on the path of disaster and destruction. I am always with you, and you are going to have adventures, and just, call out to me when you need me, and I'm always here. This is how much you are loved and guided and blessed. That's it. Okay? So when you don't have that component of faith, very difficult to love yourself. Very, very difficult. And I mean, these people who are creating chaos in our world, they lack faith. They lack faith. So they put their faith in people instead of the highest creator, right? And when you put your faith in people and you need people to approve of you, you can be manipulated very easily. But when you don't need the approval of people and somebody comes at you and they say, oh, do this, otherwise you're a bad person. And you look at them and you're like, I don't derive my worthiness from your opinions. My worthiness comes from my creator. So if you think that I'm a bad person because I'm not acquiescing to your bullshit, then that means that you can have that opinion and I don't really give a shit. So I inspire and help people to get to that level of self-love, self-certainty, self-awareness, and self-discipline so that they can stand up to these little insidious bastards who try to manipulate them, and they just say, no, I see what you're doing, and no, doesn't fly with me because I love myself too much. So that is for you. I'm hopeful it helped. If you'd like to get your free love life assessment, if you're hearing some vibes from this today and you want to get a free love life assessment, you can do that by clicking the link below. If you're seeing this on YouTube, there will be a link. You can go to LoveQuestCoaching.com. There you will find a picture of me, so you know it's really me, and a button that says, get your free love life assessment. And then you will be on your way. The assessment is awesome because it lets you puke out all your stuff. Just tell me everything. And it gives you prompts and questions to answer. And then in a few days, you will get an actual response from me. No bots, none of this AI generated thing. It's me reading this thing over. And for now, act on this because we're making some changes in my business that it will not take a week. It could be a while before you get your response. But for now, take advantage because in the queue, there are some of these assessments going on, and it adds to content, helps me create what it is that people are really needing answers to. And so it's all we're helping each other out through this work. So thank you so much for your time, attention, and intention. And I hope that this found you in the middle of a blessed, beautiful day. Love yourself first, most, best, and always. That is my message to you. Make it a great one. Bye.